Hey guys, it's Turek, and I was wearing black today, but apparently blue is what I'm supposed to wear for this video. So, today I want to go over, a lot of some thoughts, and especially some theories about Hazbin Hotel, and as well as some other random stuff. I took quite a few screenshots in the last month since the first video I've published about this, which was me just also kind of randomly doing stuff. That one was more like me going over the plot from the pilot all the way to the end of the first season. This one's going to be a bit more about the oh, what happened? Today I want to go over some really interesting stuff. First of all, with regards to the politics that Hazbin Hotel brings up. So to start with, yeah, this show, I'm just obsessed with it. I've been well, for the past week or so I took a little break. I've been playing Assassin's Creed and Resident Evil 4, but I was all of February basically I kept rewatching the songs. Even yesterday and this morning I was rewatching. I won't be going over the songs much because this is more about the story. The let's see. Yeah. So the first thing that's really going on is there's something really up with a few things. I guess I'll start with I don't know if I should start with Alastor or Heaven. I think I'm gonna start with Heaven. So Heaven has something really weird going on here. There is we get this bit in the beginning about the extermination happening every year, and this actually first also brought to mind how there isn't just sinners. I think they always call them sinners in here. They call them and sinners in here refer to anybody who's a person who lived on earth, died, and they go to hell because they're sinners. And the only time I think we've actually seen someone who is a sinner, so sorry, is I think in episode 1 of Hazbin Hotel from season 1. She hires Blitz and his crew to go back to Earth and kill this woman who was cheating on her husband, and that woman who got killed by the sinner killed herself, right? In that one, the sinner takes her life, kills her husband, shoots this other woman who cheated with the husband. That woman ends up living, and she so Blitz and the others, Moxie, what's the other one? They go to Earth and they try to get rid of that person. Anyways, that sinner, these other people in here are often called Hellborn, and I think that's what you would see, like Blitz, Moxie. You see a lot of those Hellhounds there. What's her name? Got her name now. And you got beings like Stolas, and who's some kind of nobility, and he looks like he's some kind of scholarly thing too, who keeps records of specific things that happen on Earth, which makes sense. But he I get to this, I'm bringing all this up because so Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss are showing two different sides of hell. We're seeing hell in Hazbin Hotel from the viewpoint of Charlie. She's the princess of hell because Lucifer is considered the king, and we're going to get more into that later. But there is interesting here is like how there's a lot of things to go over. First, it's like, why is hell really gonna? What I want to get at is hell really gonna overflow with sinners? The extermination in here is all about the angels, who are this military force called the Exorcists, led by Adam, the first human, who's now a human, now an angel, goes to hell once a year and kills a whole bunch of sinners, probably by thousands, because like his lieutenant at one point said she killed like 250 or so in the last extermination. So if hundreds of angels go there and each kill hundreds of sinners, there's kind of easily be like, I'm gonna guess like 10,000 deaths or something. Which begs the question too of what is the what is the what are they going for? I lost my brain. Oh, and that's what I'm just gonna say. Come on, how the sinners. I'm trying to figure out like if the sinners can the sinners really. Oh, where do the sinners go? That's what I was about to say. Where do sinners go if they're destroyed? This is something that's been done in other shows too. I think actually, ironically, we were talking about Dragon Ball earlier, and there was a point in Dragon Ball Z where that came up where Yamcha and Krillin, I think it was, are in the afterlife after they've been killed by Majin Buu, and Kid Buu arrives there. No, Wilder, you can't go there. Hold on. Kid Buu arrives there and is going to destroy them all. He somehow just instant transmissions right into the afterlife, which like Goku did that once, but only in one of the movies, which was kind of non-canon. No, it is, and like just because purely out of his love for Gohan and his need to save him from BoJack in that one, the BoJack movie. So sorry, and so Kid Buu went to goes to Afterlife, and he's gonna destroy this place where Krillin and Yamcha and the others, where they're training. They're training, and Kid Buu comes there, and Krillin or Yamcha, one of them both like say, if he destroys us now, we're all just gonna be like gone or some. I'm paraphrasing now. So the same thing, something applies there with Hell in the Hazbin Hotel show, where they are trying to make sure Hell doesn't rise against them. So let's go over the backstory actually a little bit, because in the backstory of this, we see that angels, heaven was. How did they say that again? Actually, I have to watch that bit. I should have rewatched that bit, but now I'm gonna have to keep doing this a lot. Hold on. That was stupid. Okay, yes. So the angels create Earth and create humans, and then once Lucifer and Lilith cause heaven to be made, we find out about hell being created, and how sinners end up going there. So there's a few questions here back to where I'm going off all over the place, but bear with me if you can. So sinners, we don't know what happens to them when they get destroyed, killed by angels. Apparently they just get destroyed. But this is very interesting because we don't understand how humans go to Earth. From Earth go to heaven. They state this in their Seraphim, I think her name is Sarah. She does not. She and the Senate body of other angels don't quite understand how people come to heaven. And so, where was I going with that? How do they know? Yeah, how do they know what constitutes the right rule? It's like that. This actually, what I'm going off in, I guess, is there a God in this series that is created some kind of rules behind the scenes that, you know, it's like how we don't quite understand how things in the universe work, but they just seem to have an ebb and flow that we can try to see this. We can see happening, but we don't see. We can't like open up the hood of the universe the way you can. Like if a car, how does a car work? Oh, open it up. You can see you got the engine, and you feed it gas, and it needs oil, and then you put it in your drive, and it moves. We can't quite see that in the universe, and this is just and Hazbin Hotel. We see that there's something like that happening with it. Heaven, just they know certain things can happen, but don't quite know how it happens. So there's that there that bothers me. And actually, I want to go on to this now. I guess I was going to go into the politics, but I'm going to come back to it. Since I'm thinking about this, they brought up about a new realm. This has to do with Alastor now. Alastor, I think Alastor is a mortal soul who's a demon, and he's channeling powers from a different realm that exists. This is something that's done in some other media too, where like it's not just heaven and hell. There are other realms where other things exist. Think of them as like different environments on Earth. Imagine heaven is a place that's like a beautiful grassland. Maybe it has some trees and it's near a beach or a nice lake. And then hell is a wasteland, like somewhere up here. Like we have up here the I'm in South Dakota, and we have the area called the Badlands. Pretend for a minute that's hell. So heaven is like the Great Plains, a beautiful plain area with trees and water, rivers, or maybe lakes, something. And hell is the Badlands, a desolate, rocky terrain. There are other types of environments in our world. You have swamps. You have true deserts. You have cold mountains and other rugged terrains. I want you people who may watch this and try to imagine other realms existing with when we are taught that like it's just heaven, hell, earth. I want you to imagine those other realms or other environments where other things live that aren't. Think of them as adjacent to angels, where they exist and they're not mortal. What I think Alastor is related is part of that. Maybe when he died, if he did go to hell, well, they said he did. Vaggie and not Nifty. What was that other girl's name? The other one. They both have that story about Alastor. Let me find. What was her name? Mimsy, not Nifty. Mimsy and Vaggie in the pilot in episode 5 talk about Alastor coming out of nowhere and taking over. I'm thinking due to his powerful, strong force of will, he has communicated with a separate realm and sold his soul to it. This is the important part. People keep saying he probably had something to do with Eve or Lilith. I think so, but I think it's different. It's more like, I think he did a deal with some other entities, let's call them, some other types of things like demons, but ones that live in a different realm. I'm thinking of the swamp thing again, because it's got that green, and he has that area later where he's eating a deer. Actually, that's interesting too. I'll go back into that in a minute. I think he did a deal with another entity, but now in exchange for power, he sold his soul, and now he wants to get out of that deal. And thusly, when people talk about him having a deal with talking with Eve or Lilith or whoever, I think he went to one or the other to try to get out of his deal. He was looking for help. This was brought up by actually Zestiel. Yeah, Zestiel brings up about you being him. How did he say the quote? Let me see. One moment. Zestiel calls it Tales of You Fall into Holy Arms. I think after spending a lot of time here in hell, Alastor is trying to free himself from whatever deal he made. Maybe he did make a deal with Holy Arms, actually. But I'm going to go on this theory for a while until evidence proves I'm just wrong, that he has a deal with something else and now wants to get out of it. And I think that's what he is doing, this stuff with the demons. When they talk about him taking out these other overlords, he's essentially like a serial killer. That's what I was going for. I suspect if following through along with this theory, the next point of this is that in exchange for all this power he has, the holder of his soul wants to be fed powerful beings in hell. So I think Alastor has gone back to hell. Maybe he stayed in hell. Maybe he contacted this thing and made this deal within hell. Maybe these other realms can traverse, entities can traverse them to some extent or communicate, But yeah, let's go with communicate. They communicate with Alastor, and they wanted to, in exchange, they offered him power in exchange for they have control of his soul, and he would use it to frequently corner and trap other powerful demons of hell, and they would be fed to this thing eventually. And he would Alastor too, I suspect, is kind of a Hannibal Lecter type, where he takes great pleasure. It's obvious at some point with the comment he makes about the egg boys to Vaggie in episode 3, that he takes some pleasure in like exterminating people for fun. Probably why him and Nifty are getting along too. And so the main question that comes out of this, though, following either with theory, my own or the ones most people are following, is what does Charlie have to do with this and Lucifer? I suspect he can't break the deal with this his loner, the one who owns his soul, without. I think he's hoping to use Charlie and or Lucifer or both to finally break his deal. He's hoping that by feeding him one or the other of the most powerful entities in hell, and I do believe Charlie, right along with her father, is the most powerful entity. She just is like untrained and unpracticed. She hasn't tapped into it fully. She started to in episode 8. By feeding one of those souls to what would you call this? Eldritch, is that what they call it? Well, things, something from a Lovecraft like novel. He's hoping to do that to break his deal. He wants his freedom back. He's in trouble now. He could probably have his life ended by this by whoever holds his soul. So the deal with Charlie is interesting. He wants her to help him someday. I think he's still going to use her as some kind of like sacrifice, or a way to trick Lucifer. When you go to that part with Lucifer, actually, I'll bring up some of my screenshots now. When you go to that bit with Lucifer, hold on. There. Nope. Come on. Move over. Like that. There. One moment. I took plenty of screenshots. I want to share some so we can go over this. Season 5. Can I get this up now? Hold on. So yeah, Alastor here, he has this very strange look, and everyone's noticed this. I think he is viewing Lucifer as like his end game, something he can get eventually, so that he can free himself. Charlie's an avenue to that. Actually, maybe his deal with her, I think, actually maybe almost like his last chance thing. Because something else too, when he talked with that other demon overlord named Zestiel, I suspect Zestiel's the one who's next on his list. He picks and chooses prey, and he waits until he can get them cornered. And like we saw Mimsy show later in this same episode. And I think that's why he was so, when he saw Zestiel and the egg boys were there, not in this episode. No, yeah. And that was in episode 3. And when they talk in episode 3, Alastor's like sees Zestiel appear, and he doesn't want to like scare him off. And he tells the egg boys to be quiet so they don't like embarrass him. Initially I thought like, oh, he's just like, oh, this guy's someone I want to rub elbows with and be friends. But when I think about how they've said he's taken out other overlords, I think Zestiel's is on the menu and is next, and Lucifer is as well. But Lucifer's power is far too great for him to contain now. And that's something interesting too. Let's go over a bit. What's up with Lucifer's abilities? When they say he's the king of hell, I don't think he really is. Like, not in the sense he controls what it does. I feel like Lucifer is as much of a prisoner there as the sinners. He simply has such enormous innate abilities, powers, sorcery, that he is seen as the king, because he's top of the food chain as far as raw power and like experience. Not just raw power too. He's like he showed like he shows such like experience too. When Adam fought him, Adam didn't stand a chance against him as far as like hitting him. It'd be interesting to know if Adam was throwing around those like angelic ki blasts, I'm gonna call them. So like you see in like Dragon Ball Z, if that would have actually hurt Lucifer. Lucifer tried to avoid him, so I guess they could to some extent. But I think it's more about Lucifer. Lucifer doesn't take over as the authority figure of hell, because he's not really the king. He doesn't see himself as such. He just as much as a prisoner there. He doesn't want to be there. Someone else said that too. I was watching a video earlier. Lucifer isn't happy there because of the punishment. Charlie grew up there, and so she does see it as her home, and Lucifer doesn't. So back to his abilities too. It's very interesting how he has abilities that seem demonic, but he also, in that one song, like I'll be referencing this song sometime. I'm not going to go over most of them. Just ones that relate to mainly the story. So his song about the one where him and Alastor are vying to be like Charlie's father figure. He talks about like there's nothing compares to pure angelic power. Yet when he gets very angry, he has a demonic looking form. This fireball, I think, appeared over his head, and he was creating a fire like ki blast thing that he was going to use to destroy Adam, actually. And it just seems, I think when he still technically is an angel, but now he's an angel that's been, his abilities, his transformation has been changed by his years of living in hell. He's absorbed from the environment that look he has now. He didn't want it. It's like if you live in certain areas and you're used to certain, like the air, so say you get into higher elevations, or you're not, if you go to other places, sometimes you're not used to, say, the plants and stuff. You have allergic reactions because you're not used to the other environment. This is like similar what I think Lucifer has happening to him. He is a angel trapped in this other realm that houses sinners, and it's full of evil, and it's rubbed off on him a little bit in how he, not like his mental state, he's not like turning to the dark side. It just changed his ability. He won't look angelic anymore in the way we saw with the ones in the seraphim up in heaven. That's what I think. And yeah, so he simply has like these great abilities. Like he seemingly can create stuff out of nothing. And Alastor seemed like he had a few abilities like that too, but not the same, not to the extent that Lucifer has. Lucifer definitely like can probably just do just about anything down there as far as creating something from nothing kind of this thing. He did in his one song, he's pulling out like food and stuff out of nowhere. A skill I sometimes wish I had, because I get a little lazy making my food. Let's see. So where else was I? Yeah, so Lucifer and Alastor. I think Alastor's after freedom from his deal, and Lucifer might be where he wants to get it from. He gives the top dog of hell. Hold on a second. On the topic of Alastor, one last thing I want to go over that lends me to believe he is there only to get what he wants, whatever it may be, was in the in episode 8, as everyone's like celebrating, he talks about here about listen to it. He talks about how he feels a little sentimental about being with these people, all the other characters, Charlie and everyone for the last 6 months, and he's feeling a little sentimental, and then Nifty talks about how she really likes these people, and it implies to me like she's interacted with other people where she didn't really like them, or may have had others she did, and like, well, first with Alastor. Alastor sounds like he really is just he's ready to, he's like a scam artist or some undercover thing where he's starting to get too involved in when he's just there for a job and he's about ready to leave. And it makes me think he's might have done something like that before, like maybe he tricked some of the other overlords that he ended up killing later. So, and Nifty, I suspect the way she speaks to this in this little conversation with him was part of that. She helped out in some way, and then she must be somewhere else. When he summoned her in the beginning of the pilot, in the end of the pilot, it's like the way she talks, she's like she hasn't been around people in a long time. Like he has her in some kind of stasis somewhere, Alastor does, and then he just summons her in when she when he needs her help. And with Husk it was different. We saw that Husk was still going about his days gambling up until the beginning of the beginning of the series, or in the pilot again. But Nifty seemed quite different, where she was summoned there in a way where, yeah, like I said, in stasis. And the way she states too about the how she really likes them. It's like she's definitely just like, it seems like she's suggesting that she's been to other talked to other people, then she made friends with them, but then Alastor probably ended up killing them. I almost think that's part of why she's so messed up. Although the way Alastor also implied it is like he doesn't even know what makes her tick. Like he doesn't quite fathom it. Like something else happened to her first. But she just seems so it just seemed like such an interesting exchange that just implies his going along and getting tricking other demons to get what he needs. So yeah, that's on that. So I think I'm gonna go over the heaven stuff now too. Yeah. So the heaven stuff is one of the most interesting things, and we get this let's see. Oh, actually, one more thing on Alastor too. The Alastor thing had that one other thing I had a note on. When you look at him and throughout the series, especially I think this shows us in the pilot, he has a shadow that comes along and shows up occasionally, and it appears to have its own sentience. It's separate from him and connected to him. And I think he even looked at it at one point. I forgot what that was. And he I'm wondering if that's related to his when he's that shows his motivations. It's like a separate thing that shows his true intentions, or it's related to where he gets his power from. And the thing with his powers too is you always see him open up some kind of portal to something where you see green light coming out of it. It creates like a pit, and you got black tentacles that come out, and sometimes those things even manifest on his back when he transforms into his giant form. Oh, actually, one last thing on Alastor too, I almost forgot this too, is I'm wondering if Alastor, where do I have that now? Yeah, the very last thing I wanted to bring up on Alastor is possible motivation for him, or whether by the creators in the show. I was looking up first the Wendigo. It come to mind with his elk look, the antlers, and the elk. I think he's using an elk sound effect when he gets very angry. But there was another thing called the I think it might be considered an atasia, and it's other thing that's from a Native American mythology that is from a group of the Native Americans from the southwest areas of the United States. And this thing is described as sometimes having antlers as well. And the main thing that clued me into this, bringing this up for this video, is it's described as being a cannibal. And that is of interest because we see Alastor has like this elk-like features, deer features, And in episode 3, he is eating a dead deer for his breakfast. So if he is like animalistic thing, now he's committing cannibalism on another deer. So I just thought that was something to bring up, like his whether like are there like demonic creatures like this that stalk the earth in the Hazbin Hotel universe, and maybe that's where Alastor's powers came from too. And lastly on that too, the way that Alastor, that area where Alastor was eating the deer, I wonder if that was part of his power, where he was like, he had created a portal to, it looked like a swampy area on Earth. They're inside the hotel, and it's never explained, but I think he was going, he can traverse back and forth to Earth at certain times as he needs to, or wants to, I guess, and that's what he was doing there. Anyways, yeah, I want to go into that demon thing later on, but another time. But that I'm gonna show. I'll put up some links on that and there. But that was very interesting to consider whether Alastor is related to that. So on to, I guess we're going over the heaven stuff anyway. Yeah. So something with Lucifer too. Where does he have? Who is he connected with? That he has a good rapport with in heaven, that he could get a meeting up there is one of the most pressing questions I have. We meet this seraphim just named Sarah. I think they refer to her as Her Highness. So she's probably like, to me, something like Stolas, where she has a very high status and overruled, and she's kind of nobility. But then there's beings that are above her, and in the case of Stolas, we found out about there's the sins, like we met lust and what's the other one? Greed. I think that was that wolf like one. She represents greed, and those beings are above Stolas. We see Stolas in Hell of a Boss in season 2 speaking with Lust, I think it is, the one that's the very big muscular one with the ghostly heads, talking to him about when they kidnapped I forget the other guy's name, the circus guy, and he's trying to get him back, and Stolas is advising Lust, be careful making a deal, on a contractual deal, because it's permanently binding if a sin like him does a deal. It was going to be with like Moxie's gangster dad, and they were in there. Stolas and Lust were in that room with the lawyer. So relating back to this Sarah seems like she's of an equal opposite status of like Stolas, where she is nobility, and then she oversees this senate body of other angels. Adam even refers to her as his manager, and to later on. So, but she clearly is covering up stuff, and then she at the same time seems to take orders, because so Lucifer says to Charlie, I can get you a meeting. Of course, I can't go up there. And when Charlie goes up there, Sarah treats her with some kind of reverence, saying, "Oh, daughter of the morning star," and calls her princess later. So this is very interesting, because Lucifer's been cast into hell, but he's still treated with this weird reverence, like they need to keep him kind of pacified. Like, I think it's partially to do with how he is not ruling over hell. He's this left hell to run itself. That's probably why all these overlords have all these territories. We saw Carmela and Zistiel, and how Alastor and everyone have carved out their own places. And similarly with Cherry Bomb and Serpentius having their own places, they carve out territories. And when they were trying to vie, Serpentius and Cherry Bomb were vying for other territories after the last extermination. So yeah, with Lucifer, it's very interesting there, because Sarah brings up to Adam, like, we didn't quell the. Do I have that picture? 1 second. Sarah specifically says you did not. How do you say that? Wait, let me pull that. You failed to control the demon's unrest, and now Lucifer is involved. So clearly they were trying to do this. So there's also the point too, because Lucifer agreed to this. Charlie paints a poor picture of this early on. That was one of the only critiques I have of her. I'll go over that more later. But she talks about how they just had a meeting and they agreed to do this. I think in this regard, Lucifer did not have enough clout to stop the exterminations. He was broken. He was like, okay, just leave the other hell spawn alone. That other one there, I forget her name. She brings that out earlier, and I think it was in episode 1. And then so Lucifer was able to just make a deal where they would only kill sinners and not hell spawn, meaning those who are born there. But he must still have. He has somebody who's above this woman here, Sarah. Actually, a point like this. I can't point. This woman here named Sarah, like I said, they refer to her as Your Highness, and so Lucifer is able to get a meeting where she has to convene over I'm gonna call it a Senate again, and then Charlie tries to plead her case about souls being redeemed. So there's very interesting politics going on here, where Lucifer has a friend up there. So I'm guessing it's someone who's friends with Lucifer. And actually, there was a picture earlier where Lucifer had some other one. I can pull that up in a little bit, but he must have a friend who's still a high-ranking angel. Someone like I put that in a video, and someone talked about Gabriel. I'm thinking also, I think there's a Michael and Gabriel. I think were two very, very high angels mentioned in the Christian mythology, you might call it. Not sure. Let me pull out those pictures actually. Yeah. So who? Yeah. I'm very fascinated to see who. Hold on, right there. Okay. I'll be fascinated to see too who. Yeah, right here. There is a picture of someone that looks a lot like Lucifer. Like he has a twin. That's it too. Maybe Lucifer has like a twin brother, but this thing has a very dark skin, but and the same teeth. So at first I was thinking it's someone else in hell. Actually, it could be. Maybe he has someone else in hell. But I was wondering too if there's possible it's one of the other angels and he just appeared that way. Maybe they're wearing something, because look at how Adam was wearing that weird mask. We didn't even see his face, his human face, until the end when he got punched by Lucifer. My next question on the topic of Lucifer and stuff like this is actually what happens in episode 6, where Sarah, I think it's just Sarah the Seraphim, she brings up that she was allowing the extermination to happen, and other people in hell don't know about it. Certainly not the general populace. So I'm wondering too if this person, Lucifer's contact in heaven, knew about this at all. Let me pull this down a second. How does she say that? Come on, wait a minute. There it is. Yeah, there's something here. There's something here where Sarah talks about doing what is required. She seems a little possessive. She has this look here where she's got the flames going on. Actually, I'll pull it up. She changes her eyes right here. Let me pull it up. Come on. talking about doing what is required. Very telling. Something's up there. I don't. So she really, to me, becomes one of the most scary characters in this series, even more than Adam. Because, like, at least Adam, he's not hard to read. He's very narcissistic because he's the first man to ever live, and he comes up to heaven, and they treat him like royalty, because he's like a special guest. Wait a minute, why is this doing this? And so but this woman here is being a hypocrite because they all talk about salvation and stuff like that, but they're treating the people of hell like they can't be saved, which is Charlie's whole goal. So frankly, I'm still like, I don't want this character to die, though. I'm glad Adam's gone out of the picture. He was the most annoying of all in this series, but her, credit where credit due, at least we like, okay, he's straight and narrow, like he hates sinners, he thinks all the, she like seems a little wonky, like she's a little crazy eye going on right there. We're talking about, oh, I have to protect heaven, but we have to protect ourselves from the sinners. And this was going back what I said in the beginning, like, do they really know if heaven cannot have enough room? I guess are they worried? I think this relates back to Lucifer too. Are they worried that if Lucifer starts taking in matters in his hand, and he kind of did at the end, I think what they're kind of worried about, it sounds like to me, is basically that they're worried he'll raise an army and he can just go march on to heaven and take it over. So they talk about how Lucifer's involved. Although I would say that if whoever agreed to this meeting, if they're nicer, unless they have a motive in trying to fuck things up in heaven, that's something I keep thinking about. If we see this character, that'll be my first thing. Whoever gave this meeting, I'm wondering if their motive was to say, hey, Lou, I owe you one, I'll let you do this, maybe this will help things for you. That's my first thing. Like, Lucifer's like expelled from heaven, right? But he still has friends up there. They want people to feel bad, but they don't have the power to stop him from being exiled. So they can't do that, but maybe they still talk to him sometimes. Although, yeah, how would that work? Because that wouldn't be cell phones. Because the way that thing with Lilith, I'll get to that in a minute. Lilith doesn't take calls. It was almost like Lilith doesn't have a cell phone service in heaven, because between heaven and hell you can't communicate that way. But Lucifer did somehow. So I was going to say, if this person was someone who's a good friend of Lucifer's, who doesn't have any ulterior motives, maybe they were like, okay, I don't agree with the, I never agreed to the, maybe that's the other thing. Maybe they don't know about the extermination. Sarah, I suspect, right now, maybe she has someone else. Maybe there's another boss. Like, maybe this was Gabriel, for example, that is Lucifer's friend, and maybe there's also Michael, who's a colleague. They're on the same, can't get hierarchy level, and they so Gabriel's like, hey, there's stuff going on down there. I can help you with this one. I have the poll to force Sarah and the Senate to have a meeting, but then Sarah might be working on say that Michael's a bad guy, and he's letting this happen too. He's working with Sarah, so it's like a chain. Michael, this is hypothetical again. Michael saying, then Sarah, then Adam, who Adam's leading these forces. Who's saying, oh, Sarah, don't let this. You have to stop this from becoming out of hand. Gabriel did it. I couldn't stop him. But so I wonder if there's something like that going on. Actually, something separate too, I just noticed there's a neat detail. When you got Sarah, I think it was Emily, and you got Lucifer. I just noticed when you look at them and you look at Adam and his lieutenant, they have different wings. It looks like angels who die, who are humans and then die and come to heaven, have just a single pair of wings. But if you're like Sarah or Lucifer, you get the 6 wings. They were born there. They were created. Maybe if God was there and he created them, they were born to him somehow. They're different. I just noticed that out of interest. This is a telling scene here as well. Emily, this younger seraphim, like a right hand person to Sarah is extremely happy seeing Charlie come here and showing people around. She likes, it's like almost like she should be the one. I feel like she should be the one working with. I think that was Saint Peter in the front. Should be showing people souls into heaven. I wonder if she just has Emily here is like extremely innocent for one thing. We find out how she doesn't know anything about the exterminations. She gets into Emily's face, Sarah's face later in this episode, pointing out, I can't believe you did this. I'm losing respect for you. Well, I just gotta go over that. But shit, I lost my train of thought. So I just hope she becomes a more prominent character later. I think she will, because she's gonna probably contest. I think Sarah will change her mind a little bit, because at the end she sees they see Sir Pentious show up. They show up. They're like in an office area together, and I was wondering like if that was like right after they found out that Adam died, and but Emily here. Oh shit! What was I gonna say about that? I lost my train of thought. I have to come back to that. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I wonder if she really hasn't heard the full understanding of the stories about she like, even though she knows Lucifer's fallen, he's been sent and exiled, and Sarah brings up later about her becoming like that. We'll go over that in a minute. She has a very optimistic outlooks on life. I really like her, how optimistic she is, and not judging like we see St. Peter do it. Susie here sees that Charlie is Lucifer's daughter. He's like, oh, are you sure you have the right? Are you sure you should be here? How'd you get here? Before Sarah and Emily come. But I feel like I like that she's optimistic and didn't judge Charlie as that evil, the spawn of that evil former a former angel who's fallen because of he created hell. Actually, there's a theory there too. So in my whole video here, I was talking about Alastor, about separate realms. I wonder if these other realms, if there are other ones like where Alastor's coming from, if those are realms that naturally occur out of the universe, and that heaven tried to create Earth as this pure place for mortals to live, and yet they were trying to keep it separate from wherever wherever Alastor's gaining power from. Come here. And instead they but then that's why they're so mad at Lucifer too. He screwed everything up because he gave that fruit of knowledge to Eve and created this place where created evil that would become tethered to Earth, where souls who became evil had to go there, and like they couldn't stop it. Like again, this has to go with more like the how there's things happening in the background that even the angels or even Lucifer wouldn't be able to understand fully, that the inner workings of how a soul is pure and they go to heaven, or they sin and they go to hell. And they were hoping to, when the Earth was created, they probably were aware that something like that could exist, and that's why they were worried about what Lucifer did. Well, before he did, they were saying his ideas were too outrageous or whatever. But it's very interesting that to think that's why they're so mad. Like, okay, now this project we had, this perfect thing, it got screwed up, and now we're gonna have to deal with this forever. Now that's probably why they're worried about hell too, because hell has such a weird pull now. With like, it feels like there's like this thing. It's like it feels like what happens if you got like planets with moons nearby and there's like gravitational pulls. I think they're worried about hell because it's this new realm that I feel like it's newer compared to Earth and obviously heaven and anything else, and now it's become so intertwined with Earth that they're worried about it ruining the balance of the universe, basically. That's about a tangent. Also, look at that look on Baggy's face. I forgot about that. she's getting a little worried that Emily's gonna make moves on Charlie. I want to go into that too with Charlie a little bit now. Then, so Charlie is a very interesting character. There's a little this is like a little bit of family history and stuff. There's Charlie is the daughter of Lucifer and Lilith. Lilith is the first human, and she is a let me pull up the picture too. I wanted to bring up this image. This was very interesting imagery about how hell connected with Earth there. But also, I was just going to go over Lilith. So Lilith and Lucifer get cast down, and Lucifer loses his will to dream. And then they show Lilith here. It's very interesting. So I think this may be part of what like makes her so interesting to Alastor, like or Charlie is, that is, because she's only a human. She's casting. The angels cast her into hell. She doesn't die on Earth and become like as a sinner and go to hell. So because she's like pure, so to speak, and is sent in there, and I think I'm assuming because we know she has a very strong willpower back then. She didn't like Adam's attitude toward her. Oh, we gotta go over that too later with the deal. What is it that made her be able to gain powers there? To this imagery here suggests she became kind of a demon, but not in a bad way. I don't think she's really a demon the way Alastor or the others are. She's just, again, hell has empowered her because of her strong. I feel like what's going on here is the methodology is if you're a strong-willed person, it doesn't matter if actually really a person or an angel, living in another realm like this draws your body to transform and gain sorcery type powers. And it doesn't have to. And Alastor, I think with Alastor, he just went down a route of wanting to gain more power, so he may have sold his soul to gain more, the way we saw like how Husk talked about that. But when it comes to Lilith, she just lived there. Her and Lucifer were probably happy down there for a while. I was actually watching someone else, another good reaction channel, made a great point about that. They were happy together, and then until later on, I want to get into that a little bit later too. But she gained a strong willpower, and then she started helping. Wait, how did they say that? Let me pull that up. She was inspiring hell. Let's see. Wait. She empowered demonkind with her voice. That's what it says. So I wonder though if she lost hope the way Lucifer did. This is my next spin on this. She's up in heaven right now as of the end of the story. And what's her name? Let's find her name. What's that other one's name? Yeah, I'm wondering if Luke goes to heaven to talk to Lilith. I'm wondering if Lilith lost her desire to be there, because this is hinted at later on when it shows in episode 5, the little flashback. Right here, actually, I want to show this first. Also, I fixed this screen. I want to have this full screen because it's so blurry. If you look at this image here, you have Lilith with Lucifer in 2 spots. Actually, this is the most important one over here. We actually see her eyes there. We never see her eyes again anywhere. I think I'm pretty sure it's just that picture. She's smiling over here. Later, there is in the flashback in this episode, Charlie sneaks into Lucifer's little workshop room and is come here. Ooh. And is trying to and visits Lucifer, and Lilith comes in and takes him and takes Charlie out. And as someone else pointed out, more than I didn't realize this fully myself. That must have been the other reaction channel I watched was pointing out that she probably at that point had already decided she was going to leave, that the relationship was breaking apart, and that her, like, paraphrasing the other person, I watched. Like that Lilith was her expectations of Lucifer weren't as what she wanted. She wasn't. She was like, I kind of feel what happened. His losing the will to dream is the main thing. She wanted to continue to dream, and he couldn't. He felt so broken being cast out of heaven that he couldn't do it, and without him with her, that she just like wanted to leave and go get away from it all too, so to speak. So she went to heaven. She made a deal. She must have been, the deal though, that's the thing with the deal. So she must have done something with Adam saying, hey, I want to go to heaven. I'll make a deal with you. I just can't figure out what that deal would be. Like, did she say we can hook up again now and then? Because she was like, looking to get another man back in her life. She was tired of Lucifer. That's the only thing I can think of. Like Lucifer already had that deal, like, don't bother my daughter. Maybe she said, oh, you can go kill more people in hell as much as you want if you let me in heaven. Something. I just can't. So, actually, there's something else bothering me too with this image. How come, let me pull it back up. How come Lucifer's the one that's got this sharp teeth look, and it didn't, Lilith didn't gain that, and of course Charlie didn't because she's born, but like, what? Is it because he's an angel living down there and she's human, but now Charlie's like half human and half angel? And like, what is that makes him have those teeth still? It kind of looks weird on him at times. When he has that, when he smiles sometimes, like this one here, when he's do I have that one? Where'd it go? I'll just pull this one up when they're singing together with Alastor. Come on. Yeah, he's got these teeth going on here like that. What's up with those teeth he's got all the time that you see in this other picture here that don't appear? Like when he smiles like that, like I was saying, he looks quite menacing, but it just feels a little off on him because of how much. Like after seeing Charlie so much, seeing a picture of Lilith there with her with regular teeth, with the exception of the little fangs. I just don't quite get how that is how that happens. Oh, one last thing too. I like how Sarah. I was gonna go back on this with Sarah and Emily at the end of the conversation on about Emily feeling like she doesn't like what's going on, and she wants to become outspoken against what they're doing. Sarah points out, like, if you keep pushing this issue, you'll become fallen like Lucifer. So that points out to me, like, does Sarah know that there's someone above her? Like in my hypothetical I made earlier, like Michael being the bad guy, that there must be someone up there who would doesn't want the status quo to be broken in hell, heaven and hell, what's going on, and especially in heaven, and break the peace. And anyone who speaks out against it now could end up the way Lucifer did, saying, oh, we're going to keep things running smoothly, we have to look out for the souls up here, as Sarah was saying, and we have to not worry about demons, and anyone who doesn't like this, we're going to kick you out. Yeah, and Sarah too. She was funny. It was funny. One last thing too is Sarah and how her attitude. She did these little formalities with Charlie, calling her princess and stuff. I think I said this a little bit earlier. But it was funny how she was doing it. Like, so she definitely knew she had to play it nice with Charlie when she came. But she knew she wanted to get her out of there. She was like trying to. Basically, she probably knew what the whole thing was already about. Yeah, she implied that too when she talked to Adam. But so she was gonna play nice with Charlie, but try and shoo her out so that she could keep things going so smoothly. So she's like running the ship. It's like she's the first mate of a ship that's rotten in its core, but looks nice on the top deck. and there's someone else, the captain. There's a captain. There's someone behind the scenes pulling the strings, and that's where I really want to know what's going on that angle. As interesting as Alastor is, this political stuff behind the scene that's happening in heaven is a part of this story that I am the most interested in. Oh, and the Geos. Oh, that was another thing too. Yeah, did Alastor gain more power deals? Actually, I think I'm gonna end this video on this today, because that's what I don't want to go over. So one last thing too, I guess, is just like what do I think will happen next season? That's what I do. I think now that Lucifer is involved, whoever is over Sarah is gonna have to jump in and take over, because this is gonna set a basis. Because now, especially because Adam's gonna be found out to be dead, they won't be able to keep that hidden. And Adam let slip, him and Luke let slip that they do the exorcisms. They're probably gonna have to forestall that for now. And if there is someone above Sarah who wants to continue that they're gonna have to deal with Lucifer, because now that Lucifer looks, I think he's gonna be more active in helping Charlie. He helped me build the thing, and he's gonna help Charlie with the running the hotel. He's gonna be a more active ruler essentially now. Now it's gonna become a point where they're trying to turn Hall of Hell into like redeeming sinners, and someone behind the scenes in heaven is not going to like that and try to, maybe they'll confront Lucifer on that, make a threat, say, hey, don't do this anymore, I'll kill Charlie. We can send assassins as many times as we want to hell. Second, I think Sarah, now that she sees redemption is possible, will change her tune, and that she may rebel against whoever this person is that has given her the marching orders. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to her. I fear she could get killed too. And Lilith, yeah. Lilith's thing with Alastor would be very interesting. Not Alastor. Alastor and Lucifer are very interesting. I don't know if there is a relation. I still don't think there really is a relationship with that and Alastor. I'm hoping that Lucifer will become, that they can get back together. I'm hoping that we'll see something there. This is going to be very interesting. And this is going to be very interesting because of Charlie's worldview of Lilith. She doesn't seem to still realize what happened with their relationship breaking down, her parents' relationship breaking down. And it'll be interesting to see if Lucifer ever brings that up to her. He doesn't seem to want to. I think he wants to let Charlie maintain that good feeling toward her mother. He's not petty enough or vindictive enough to try to ruin that worldview of Charlie has of her mother. So when that happens, though, I think Charlie's gonna have to come to terms with that. And what was I gonna say about that too? I think that's about it. I'm gonna leave this video out for that today. I'm gonna do another one at one time. I think I want to go through some of these other little neat things they showed in the episode. I wanted to go over these different theories around heaven and hell and Alastor in this video. Well, this is gonna one. Well, yeah. And so, anyways, thanks for watching.